Welcome one and all to Challenge Road, a series where I take on challenges in different video games and record in makeshift booths when I'm moving. Hot in here. So let's see if I can beat Pokemon Platinum with only one Pokemon, since some rando said it was too easy on Twitter forever ago. Can you tell I let these challenge ideas sit too long sometimes? There was a part of me that thought to do this challenge with both the Event Mew and Jirachi, but since their stats are identical and Jirachi sounded like the more interesting of the two, I thought to give it another solo go. I need to do one of the manga teams eventually so it can finally be more than one. I learned while researching that there's a YouTube channel dedicated to doing manga teams, so hi Magnus Pokemon. Mine are not going to be Nuzlocke though. With weakness to ground and fire, I know what the chart says, but did you know that Ghost and Darkness relation to Steel changed to Gen 6? I'm still going to resist them for now. Doesn't make me any less worried about big pot shots every now and again, but I'm hoping that 600 stat pool does its job to keep me alive. Plus, looking through my Gen 4 moves, I got plenty of toys to play with. Now for the rules breakdown. Only Jirachi in battle, other Pokemon only for HM and grinding schemes. No items in battle, only held items. I started writing this before I got all the footage, so I don't know the final results yet, but I would like to see you guys' guesses in the comments. While we're at it, subscribe and ring the bell if you want to see more Challenge Road on this channel. I really got blindsided not remembering Platinum changed up going to the lake, but let's meet our star of the show, Jirachi. I wanted to check the stats, but apparently my haters are already wishing for my downfall. I gave him Chimchar, so my steel typing has something to fear, even when he becomes fighting against my psychic. Oh, I already start with confusion. Easy, GG. Alright, after getting some shoes to run in for my problems, let's check out those stats. I'm a little torn on its adamant nature, but everyone is swearing by it. I'm cautious about hitting things head on, but we'll see where this takes us. Not like those starting stats and ability aren't already doing me favors. Born with Rest and Wish, I'm pretty sure we all saw the movie. Not an eepier creature more deserving of the name Sleepy. I was thinking Snow White when I named them, but apparently a YouTuber named Sleepy Jirachi exists, so hi to you as well if you ever see this. I was just trying to get B-roll for the Sleepy Jirachi image change, and the professor goes and gives me a banger of a TM in number 27, Return. Suddenly my haters find me once again, but I leave them so confused all their most powerful mon can do is stare at me for 2 whole turns. First gym already? Maybe this will be a breeze. More blasted confusion cause rock resists normal. Oh yeah, we learned Swift. Quite fitting. Coal badge acquired and the journey continues. Had to stop and swiftly teach some galactic grunts some manners with Dawn. Had to send one of these commanders back to space. I knew that Zubat was going to be a pushover. I got a bit worried thinking this was the Skuntank fight. Then I sighed in major relief just to get met with a minor tank that felt just about as bad. Though the cat was a demon and it gave me the XP of one. The fight was overestimated as far as wishes go. Really wish people would stop faking me out. The move is annoying. Finally, another gym and a target worthy of unleashing my new psychic power. My favorite thing about grass-type gyms is they're always secretly doubling as poison-type gyms. Though this one sure missed that memo a little. Out here trying to pretend to be electric with all the paralysis, but Gardenia was right. It wasn't over till it was over. And it was over. Thanks for the badge! Here we go. Another commander, another match worthy of mentioning. And it's the first loss. Another pathetic round with a Zubat leads to the Skuntank finally coming to roost, and 2 screeches later I'm on the business end of needing new moves. 1 level later, me and this wingnut have the dumbest crit off we could before one hit too many takes me down again. A well-timed wish setup and the correct crit luck, I finally took out the fart demon. Time for another gym match, and I was almost expecting Fantina to be later, but they've cranked her down 10 levels to be the actual 3rd gym. Duskull wasted the super potion, Miss Maggie stood there as the actual threat while I punched myself in the face. Before finally, Fantina tried to pull at my heartstrings by making me go after my favorite mon. But no dice, lady. I'll do a run of him later as an apology, but I got no respect for raising a Haunter on physical moves. What's wrong with you? My haters surprised me in the middle of the tunnel again, but a steady line of psychics sent them packing. I'm hoping I didn't underestimate the power of Infernape when Empoleon would have resisted my psychic on last form. I was just walking around when a callback to our last challenge showed up, so I caught it and named it in his honor. Should be a link to the video in the corner at the end. Reaching level 35, I finally learned Zen Headbutt, which is going to be way better with my adamant nature. I also finally decided to go with Return after holding on to a Soothe Belt for a while, which is now replaced with a Mind Plate. I always feel bad running up on these fighting type gyms because the weaknesses are always so plentiful, but with my new mind over their matter, Zen Headbutt made quick work of Maylene. I have no idea how my haters keep finding me, but I gave each of his Pokemon a piece of my mind, and you bet I'm raising them tough with all this physical focus. Time for the 5th badge. I got a little worried starting with an Intimidation drop, but I bypassed with a Psychic once and then just trusted my Strength stat after that to still do the job, but that brought me close to the line between a ground type weakness and the strongest crunch, but the face beat the heel, or was the heel for me having the... Regardless, I won and took the belt. wrestling. It's wrestling, right? After all this time of barely acknowledging his goons, the big bad decided it was time to face off, and I got a touch worried at all his dark types. Which, fun fact, seems to be translated out in the Japanese version as evil type. But I handled him well enough with the power of friendship, though I worry I won't be so lucky when they return evolved. One fly around the region later, and my haters got to check I'm still on the grind set before a gym I'm already worried about. A lot of Zen headbutt happens. I keep thinking, what if that Infernape gets faster than me? But more importantly, what am I about to do to a steel gym with this moveset? After a bit of shard hunting and planning for future fights, I decided it's time to learn Ice Punch over Psychic. Yeah, Ice Punch, not Fire Punch like I was originally thinking, because though there is a steel gym ahead of me, the actual advantage Fire would give me for that moment doesn't outweigh the overall advantage I'll have for the rest of the game, and especially against Cynthia in my opinion. So time to put the money where the mouth is, and the gym has been going well enough so far. I still got metal sounded and set up to fail on my bad roll, but the chickens came home to roost immediately when I forgot about Earthquake. And now is as good a time as any to mention in a normal platinum copy, I would have jumped in the underground and grinded for Fire Punch, but just swapping later. But I can't access the underground, so this is a one-time ticket punch that may give me a molehill to climb, but I'm gonna conquer that mountain. I later learned about repeatable star piece per day, which could be used to bypass this issue, but I'm trying to get these challenges out faster, and that is a days of time thing. It was then standing there that a right devilish thought floats through my mind. I'm correct in wanting Ice Punch for later, but I need something for ground now, and I have just the TM for that. Just need to do a small bit of time manipulation. Reverting the save to the point I had to fight my haters again, Drain Punch came to mind. A move that wasn't my first choice, but now that I see a steel-sized wall, I just gotta put my fist through it, and heal all of it too. Now it's still not stab, and it's only 5 PP, but if you run in and outs, or this PP up, or maybe just sucking it up to the gym leader, but essentially, I got the advantage now. Get Ice Punch later. Oh yeah, the Drain Punch reality is where it's at. I grabbed a PP up when I went to check if Sleepy could take any more vitamins, and it turned out to be the exact number of punches needed to take the old steel mill down to size. Say no to Healing Wish, because nothing could be more useless than a solo Pokemon challenge. Maybe Helping Hand. Also, I'm getting Flash Cannon for this gym. Normally a good pull for Jirachi, but not my punch-happy little guy. Suddenly, Saturn came into my orbit and threw off my chakras to the point I nearly forgot to record. I really just thought this was one of the ones where they disappear, but lucky for me, Saturn is apparently the biggest pushover in comparison to the other commanders. Like, come on, her ugly Skuntank, and then you're gonna roll in with a Bronzor, not even a Bronzong? Pack it in, bud. Mars, now that's a real planet to line your chakras to. I was excited for this rematch, because the Golbat, same as always, Bronzor just damaged through. Then that tanky cat came into my sights, and I was so excited to Drain Punch it after my troubles. That skunk is next. Oh yeah, but did anyone else notice that opening animation kind of acted like Mars was a wild encounter? This lady reminded me of 3 good things right now. 1, I hadn't opened up OBS yet today. 2, not saving or taking care of my file will let fire type send me to the Shadow Realm. And 3, a good roll will always change history. Because last time, she had the perfect setup. Burned me, had a hail environment, used Fire Blast when I didn't one-shot, I was left to disaster. Also, why doesn't Steel resist hail? Shouldn't there, like, hard bodies block the damage? I mean, Steel resist ice attacks. Another gym, another bout, and I'm ready to take this one with the same fighting fist. Fun that they put Steel and Ice back to back. You can set up the right Pokemon or not take the time, and those 2 different choices are going to give you a very different time during this part of the game. Punching through her defenses led me to seeing how she really learned from her training with Maylene. Frostlass is a brilliant strategy to avoid getting punched in the Ice Jaw, and especially to me, whose other option is Return and Psychic. So as she set up Double Team, my less than accurate move is only getting less accurate. It was then that this weird phenomenon I keep experiencing happened on her 3rd setup of Double Team. It's like I hit it with no issue whatsoever. This happened to remember during the Tate and Liza fight as well. It's the strangest thing, but that one swing earned me another shiny badge. Sorry, did I say shiny? These blasted things just never seem to want to stay clean. In a fight that was over about as soon as it began, the big bad 27-year-old came at me. I Drain Punched his Pokemon back into place. To the power of friendship, had to fight his bird. Fall in line, Roboticized Nation. I've come to tell you that you should watch the Let's Play channel Wreckbot for more video game antics and subscribe to keep up with my videos. He decided to block the button, so I took a quick second to knock Saturn out of orbit, and I did not remember him having a Krogunk earlier to become his ace Toxicroak. All these fights have been giving me a real itch to do a Krogunk run, though. 2v2 yet again in these challenge runs. It's almost like Pokemon was trying to push something. But it's me and my haters back to back in a war against greater threats. But my hands walk into this fight tied because I thought he heals you before and not after the fight. So I got a handful of return and wish to use. Mind you, I went into this ready to struggle battle if I had to. But I wished upon a star and returned to my friendship when I could so my haters could actually take on the fight. The burn and reflect combo was the worst of it, having to be hurt and double held back when the start of the fight was already resisting my normal move. Had I to do it again, I would have swallowed some ethers or PP up, so I'll take the heals and gladly head to the final boss, ready to take on a whole dimension of problems. Time for the final fight with the big bad. Not gonna lie, he had me in the first half with his team of mostly evil types. I've not been able to rely on my stab for this last 20% of the game, and needing to throw out all the moves I've gathered for this was quite fun. Had a bit of a heart attack when I read the words heat wave, but it didn't really do me in like I feared, probably because mixed attacker. If Bro started with his Gyarados, the fight might have swung a little more in his favor, but it's time to wrap this up and go clean up his world-ending mess. Weird he never got a Mega Gyarados, because evil type. Moving on. Bring it on, ya big scary dragon. I knew I had this in the bag from the get-go, but I'm not gonna lie, him vanishing in time with the key change of the song gave me a bit of a scare. But back to gym challenges, because the day is saved thanks to Jirachi. Volter talked a really big game for the match he gave me here. His Luxray should be his ace, not that Raichu. Everyone else got one shot by my psychic head. Meanwhile, it actually landed 2 fire fangs on me and gave me a touch of a scare again. It's been a long journey, but finally, 8 shiny son of a... There we go. There we go. The darn things just won't stay clean. It's been a couple hours for me and just a few minutes for you guys, but staring down the barrel of the Elite Four, it's finally time to bring that Ice Punch back over Drain Punch. Though it really served me well, I'll always value a good fighting type move. Now the Elite Four is looking like a cakewalk, and Flint is the only one giving me pause. He wouldn't be a true representation of the haters if he didn't step in right before my steps to success. Gotta say though, an Intimidation start with Starter and Snorlax lead, bro made me feel like I was gonna have to pay the price of admission to get in. Though, the Infernape challenge was miscalculated. His was just always never faster than mine, so without laying hands on him, I never got burned. But that Snorlax was worth a Hebe or a GB, but the rest of the team, just psychic headbutts till they were out of the way. Now it's really time for the Elite Four. Bug type is first up, and I'm not scared of it at all, considering Bug really doesn't resist Psychic. Using the right move combos got me through the different secondary types. It was really sitting with Scizor and Drapion that nearly became deaths by 1,000 cuts, but I knew when to push over setting up a wish. Now to tend to my wounds before the next one. Even with planning to have their weakness and power through, Earthquake is still just too powerful a move to be allowed to be done to Sleepy's little steel butt unchecked. I don't think I'm gonna need any more levels for this, just smart planning with wish turns. Alright, Zen Headbutt is clearly the better lead on Wish Cash, because if it's gonna be neutral damage, it should at least be stabbed with a flinch chance. Then when I met that frickin' hungry hippo, I start doing wish setup and get back to normal, which would have been the perfect HP, but his little namesake came back to haunt him and Sleepy got sleepy for too long, just taking the same earthquake damage he would have anyway. Plan goes more perfect than perfect even, wish popping off like nobody's business. I even got lucky with freezing the golem. I saw myself at full health. I thought I had it on Rhyperior. But no, I'm a silly fool who hates Earthquake, and now got a roadblock. One more before rare candies. There are almost no words for this run. Being this unlucky should practically be a crime. That Gliscor does not deserve to have a KD ratio. That rare candy was the luckiest one I've ever popped in my life. Multiple crits, just not on the last 2 mons that mattered. But then I forgot I had another step to my evil plan for this woman. An ice that never melts. It wasn't enough! I had to pull out all the tricks, popped the rare candy, equipped the Never Melt Ice, and I ran Zen Headbutt flinch odds to get me to the end with Rhyperior. It really only changed by proccing on Hippowdon, but it was still enough to allow Wish Strat to change the end of the day. I hate fighting ground with steel so much. But it's over, just for my reward to be the fiery pits of hell. Swapping back to the Mind Place to push my stab type, even though he is going to open up with Houndoom, so using the power of friendship is my first move, and then everything else after that is easy peasy with my speed and power of mind, is what I would say if this over-glorified pony didn't paralyze me and leave me at the mercy of yet again a 3rd stage new Evo. And seeing red. Attempt number 2 starts out a little rougher with the turn, rolling lower than I would have wished, so I use Wish to keep myself afloat before watching the plan go exactly as I hoped. Once I was past the Rapidash and no paralysis, my speed made the Fire Squad a burnt house of cards. So I knew the Psychic and Psychic fight was coming for a bit, and I figured Return would just carry me through, but then Bronzong came on the scene and I got reminded why Bronzong ruffles my jimmies. Bro has Earthquake as well, and I rolled a miss 3 times in a row before having to anime yell flinch at the game for it to keep me from falling on the Witch turn. It's really different from the rest of the match with all these Psychic types with little defense. It's finally time to take on the most attractive nightmare most Pokemon fans have. And honestly, the whole battle just really showed how little people focus on having ice types on their team back in the day. All of her biggest threats found the exit sign located at the end of my Ice Punch. Togekiss was the only one to really need to take 2, and that's when I learned how many full restores she has. But that's how I brought Jirachi to the Hall of Fame. Hold that dial, I know the early click-offs leave here, so hit that rainbow subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for being here. Now, the rest of you. This was an interesting challenge for sure. A lot of it left me with the question of what's the mythical status of Jirachi? Going to make this challenge too easy? But I really had to start planning at around badge 6, and not just resting on my laurels that I had big Psycho stats, because otherwise Earthquakes and Flamethrowers were going to remind me of my place. But in the end, is Platinum too easy with Jirachi? Nah, you still have to put in an amount of effort if you don't just grind to oblivion. So yeah, it's easier than Diglett, or else there is a challenge hidden underneath. If you enjoyed what you saw today, be sure to leave a like to tell me you want more Challenge Road on this channel. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful evening.